Hello, friends. This is Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today's October 2nd, 2025. Thank you for joining us on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. We have a lot to get to. Some of the government propaganda slowed down due to the government shutdown. We can be thankful for that as we're living out our anarchist, libertarian utopia with 2 days into the government shutdown. In the real world, nobody notices, nobody even cares, is what the public reaction to all this is. A bunch of propaganda blaming the Democrats. And then on the other side, a bunch of propaganda blaming the Republicans. It's your government. You should, all government listening now to the show, you should take this opportunity and go ahead and resign out of protest for being part of a failed organization, the crime syndicate known as the U.S. federal government. Just resign now. Now's your chance. No one will blame you. But you won't, because you sold out your fellow Americans for a paycheck and whatever kind of petty power trip you're on, because you're pieces of... I don't even want to start off on a rant going off on the government here today, but these people honestly make me sick to my stomach. How you could work for this crime syndicate. You're immoral at this point and have been for virtually ever. But now it's blatantly obvious. The emperor has no clothes. Your tyranny is naked. And with that little rant, what do we got? Day 2 of the Democrat government shutdown. Well, they're saying it may last a whole 3 days. Wow. Impressive there. And the faithful civil servants are going to work with no pay in the, what are they talking about? The military, the National Guard, all these different groups. You're going to get back pay. It's all bullshit. It's all complete and utter bullshit. And they act like we're stupid. Okay? But hey, you have to still keep paying taxes. So what do we got? We got that to cover, the government shutdown and our dreams of it being permanently shut down, which will never happen. The Trump administration is trolling. They're sending out trolling emails to departments. Maybe this can nudge them along. And Trump, again, threatening us with a good time, talking about... Trump touts shutdown as unprecedented opportunity to cut more Democrat priorities. May begin firings in a day or two. And that was reported yesterday. So what about today? Fire their asses already. But we already know the consequences of decreasing the federal government will be, and already are, AI takeover, i.e. technocracy. And that's already... the groundwork's already laid through Doge as we continue to report here. So isn't this all political theater? And we have more evidence that at the geopolitical top levels that it's all theater as well. We have a bunch of clips from Putin today. He was at the big talking shop over there in Russia. What else do we got? Trump's war on drugs. And so, yeah. And we may very well, I don't know, invade Venezuela. Trump said he's not ruled out on the ground action against, quote, drug cartel in Venezuela. Apparently, oh yeah, like we said, extrajudicial killings with no due process and no approval of anybody, apparently, except for the Commander-in-Chief Trump, operating under the George W. Bush doctrine, apparently. Now Congress they already whacked a bunch of people. So, you know what I mean? alleged drug traffickers. So now Congress is acting like they give a shit. We'll go over that. Trump's war on drugs. Well, thanks a lot, Trump. We got that 70, I don't know, man. The $70 billion contract with Pfizer, right? It's got Maha, the real supporters, up in arms. It should, you know. So that goes on. We got a lot of geopolitical news. We got the martial law here in America, proudly. Well, government shut down, but there's still troops on the streets in Memphis. So go figure. They've scaled back the propaganda, but they're still putting out propaganda videos. So I guess they work with no pay. They'll get plenty of back pay. Don't you worry your little heart about it. And we'll go into further debt for this giant, absurd government. We got both sides here. We got a gay porn star convicted of child sex crimes. And then we got a pastor of a mega church in Texas pleads guilty to sexually abusing children. So both sides of the spectrum here, just pieces. I can't even start because I'm just going to start cussing. These people, it makes me so friggin' angry. And then we have a bombing there in the UK of the Synagogue of Satan. Oh, excuse me, that was a Freudian slip. Apparently it was the Aardvark Synagogue of Satan. Excuse me again. We'll go over that. We had, again, a lot of Putin clips. What was this thing called again? I do remember we covered it last year. It's the Valdai Talk Shop. So that, and Putin confirms again, NATO is at war with Russia. We're like this freaking close. We'll go over that as it's developing. Other geopolitical news. And of course, the Aardvark genocide continues. We have more reporting. I feel like maybe we're too far ahead of it because I read the news and it's like we reported that yesterday. You know what I mean? So, but we'll report it again on these Aardvark influencers being paid. And there was a big raid. Reported it yesterday on the global Sumud Flotilla. And I'm going to wrap up with Gazawood, except for it's real. It's not Hollywood, make-believe. It's real, and they really are killing the hell out of them, genociding them, ethnic cleansing them, and the like. And it's never ending, apparently. And more proof of the geopolitical global theater going on. There's not going to be no peace deal there in Gaza, sadly. There's not going to be a ceasefire. There's already been a bunch of ceasefires, and they just keep firing. So all of that to cover and much more on this Thursday edition of Weaponized News. And to address the audio issues, because who was it? We had a commenter over there. We had two commenters, actually. We had a commenter on the YouTube. What was their name? Truth is Criminal. Says, fix the volume problem. And then Snarky Guy has volunteered over the weekend to maybe, hopefully, help with some technical support to equalize the audio. I don't run a soundboard over here. And most of the time, well, I don't know, because I'm listening on like one speaker on a headphone. So I don't know. But according to these listeners, and I'm sure it's others, when I play the clips, they're very loud. Sometimes it's the clip audio quality, though, too. Nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean? So right now I got my audio at like half. And that's like as good as I can do. You know what I mean? But again, over the weekend, hopefully with the help of Snarky Guy, we can find some time to work on trying to equalize the sound for this broadcast. Thank you for letting me know. I hope that your comments are genuine, because that's a thing too. Trolls on the interweb say, well, your audio, and that's a thing. But I do believe these are genuine comments, so we'll work on that issue for you. But again, my volume is at half, so maybe I should yell louder into the microphone, and that could help. Anyhow, I hear you, and I'm working on it, on a budget of literally zero, and volunteers like Snarky Guy to help me with more technical expertise than myself. And so it is much appreciated, and we will work on it. And with that, let's get to this day in history. On this day in history of October 2nd, going back to the year 1789, Bill of Rights sent to the states. George Washington transmits the proposed constitutional amendments known as the United States Bill of Rights to the states for ratification. And they violated them probably before they were even ratified. I mean, who cares about your natural rights? You know what I mean? That's the state's position. They literally violate our natural rights every single friggin' day, and no one gets in trouble from the government. The worst crimes committed against this alleged constitutional republic are committed by our own government, and no one ever gets in trouble. They should all be fed into the wood chipper like these child rapers. They're all on the same level. Child rapers are worse, don't get me wrong, but yeah, an argument could be made. Violating an entire nation's natural rights could warrant up there with that child molestation. On this day in 1804, Britain mobilizes to protect against French invasion. In 1853, we saw, well, looks like Austria was noticing back in the day. In 1853, we saw an Austrian law enacted forbidding aardvarks from owning land. I wonder why. They were just antiseptic, I guess. There was nothing else going on, just pure hatred in the heart of Austria. And tying in with our child molestation stories, not particularly child molestation, it wouldn't surprise me, but on this day in 1871, Brigham Young, get his name, Brigham Young. Seriously, though, not to offend any Mormons out there, but U.S. Mormon leader Brigham Young was arrested for bigamy on this day. And if you're into, multiple wives, and you're a good Christian head of the Mormon church, then it wouldn't surprise me one little bit if you're into, children as well, especially in that time of 1871. But those allegations were never made. So he was only arrested for bigamy. On this day in 1871, literally one of the worst presidents ever, probably the worst, Woodrow Wilson. On this day in 1919, Woodrow Wilson, then president of America, had a stroke, leaving him partially paralyzed. You could thank Woodrow Wilson for World War I, for the Federal Reserve, for your individual income tax, and a bunch of other tyranny, selling us out to the international bank cartel. And so burn in hell, Woodrow Wilson. There you go. I hope he suffered tremendously during his stroke and his paralyzation. In 1967, all Grateful Dead members are arrested by narcotics agents for possession of marijuana in San Francisco, California. In my mind, this reads to me now like this is all cover to give them street cred, because they were agents or working with the CIA, amongst other intelligence agencies, to corrupt America's youth. That is your Grateful Dead. And then where are we at here? In 2001, to show you what pieces of shit NATO are and what a farce NATO is. NATO supports retaliation On this day in 2001, NATO states it will support U.S. military strikes against Afghanistan in retaliation for the 9/11 terrorist attacks. But the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia? Who cares? You know what I mean? We got full NATO support, so bomb the hell out of, the cavemen over there in Afghanistan. And someday, some way, we'll get bin Laden, who was a CIA asset when Afghanistan was fighting the war against Russia. Who cares? You know what I mean? Saddam had weapons of mass destruction, didn't he? And he attacked us on 9/11, didn't? What? That never happened either? Yeah. None of that ever happened. It's all war propaganda lies from our government, and no one gets in trouble, and millions dead, including U.S. service members. But thank you for your service. You know what I mean? Just total bullshit on its face. On the face of government propaganda and lies. Someday, maybe someday, America will wake up. I seriously doubt it, though. In 2020, on this day of October 2nd, lying criminal President Trump and his, mail order bride or whatever, Epstein-connected bride, I guess that has been debunked through lawfare. Who knows? Who even really freaking cares? I know they're both lying criminals. Donald Trump announces via Twitter that he and the First Lady have tested positive for the bat disease on this day. And so Trump told us he took I don't even want to get in. He took all the alternative treatments, plus the miracle, plus the Regeneron. It's like bullshit. If you take all that, no doctor would even recommend it, even the most, you know what I mean? It's just bullshit. It's a bunch of lies from Trump, straight up. So anyway, with the fake test, they said they tested positive today in 2020. Makes me want to throw up. They're actors. It's fake. Maybe someday, some way, people will wake up, but I doubt it. And then our civil liberties history. On this day of our civil liberties history, in 1967, Thurgood Marshall joins the Supreme Court. So he was up there with the cultists too. We had to throw in a black man. He was the first African-American justice in the history of the court. Isn't it wonderful? And then in 2012, and this speaks to if you want to be safe, and the government can't and won't keep you safe, but if you want to be safe, you need to be in solitary confinement with a man with a gun standing outside the door to protect you. And this illusion of giving up our freedom for safety that America seems to always sign on to, like gullible fool sheep. On this day in 2012, New York Civil Liberties Union report blasts inhumane use of solitary confinement. A report by the New York Civil Liberties Union issued on this day blasted the inhumane arbitrary use of solitary confinement in the New York State prison system. The report titled Boxed In, based on a year-long study, found that the use of solitary confinement is arbitrary and unjustified, and it's often used as a disciplinary tool of first resort. Additionally, extreme isolation harms prisoners and corrections staff, causing grave emotional and psychological harm, even to healthy and mentally stable inmates. Among corrections staff, the adverse consequences affect their lives at work and at home. Well, you should all quit, but they won't. Finally, the use of extreme isolation negatively impacts prison and community safety. It leads to unpredictable violent incidents that endanger both prisoners and staff, and also endangers community safety as released prisoners carry the adverse effects home with them. You want to be safe? Lock yourself in solitary confinement. Okay, here's propaganda from the White House. They still, even though the government shut down, they found a way to keep the propaganda flowing, even though it's toned down a little bit. It's toned down a little bit. And they were even complaining, I think, that, oh, sorry, we can't put out as many propaganda posts because the government shut down. Bullshit. They're all getting paid back pay. Don't worry about a damn thing. They're lying as per usual. And then here's our loud clips, allegedly. It's at half volume, man. It's the best I can do right now.
Our country can't handle people that come into our country illegally.
What?
And they want to give them full health care benefits.
I've never heard anything like that before. That is so weird.
They want to open the wall again. Can you believe it? I can't even believe it.
What's that? Say that again?
They want to open the wall.
What?
They haven't taken away boys playing in women's sports. They haven't done that. Men playing in women's sports.
What?
It's like they don't change. They lost an election in a landslide, and they don't change.
What is going on?
There you go. Trump's a big government, New York liberal socialist Democrat, essentially. Loves the government. F you, government and Trump. How you like that? How you like them apples? Here's the propaganda. Due to the radical left Democrat shutdown. Here, let me put it on the screen for you. This is the U.S. Department of Agriculture. This government website will not be updated during the funding lapse. Total bullshit. President Trump has made it clear he wants to keep the government open and support those who feed, fuel, and clothe the American people. We're looking at, I think we have a report. We do have a report later in the show. There's going to be a big farmer bailout, apparently, coming down the pike here. The radical left has chosen to shut down the United States government in the name of reckless spending and obstructionism. Huh? As a result, the U.S. government, the U.S. Department of Treasury's website will only be. They can't even run the website now. We're falling apart here. The radical left in Congress shut down the government. I'm old enough to remember it used to be. You would say, I'm a damn good conservative wanting to shut down the government. You know what I mean? But goes to show you that was all fake bullshit rhetoric. And they love the government just as much as liberals do. They're all big government hack shill pieces of trash. You support this government, you support genocide, you support theft of your property. And I could go down a list of crimes against humanity this government does on a daily basis. And so that's why it's immoral to support this government in any way, shape, or form.
That's exactly right, Dana. In fact, I have the Democrat proposed continuing resolution right here, where you can read in the text a provision that would remove the provision that Republicans passed in President Trump's One Big Beautiful.
Is it me, or does this broad look like a carbon copy of Charlie Kirk's wife? I don't know. Maybe all these blonde bimbos look the same to me. I don't know, but.
Bill to ensure that illegal aliens in our country cannot receive Medicaid and taxpayer-funded health care benefits.
They're missing the Machiavellian point the Democrats are trying to make. We want them to have health care so we can depopulate them. You know what I mean? It seems an extremely expensive way to go about doing it, as is the U.S. foreign policy to depopulate the third world. They're like missing the whole point here. It goes over everybody's head. But that is the point of the Democrats funding illegal aliens. It ain't for their health. Let me tell you, they're working on a depopulation agenda. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Republicans want an open government. Well, F you, Republicans, until it's the Democrats' turn, and then F both of you. Radical left Democrats want to hold the government hostage to try to score political points. Well, they scored them with me, but I know it's all bullshit, and they're not well-meaning. And we have a clock here, so if you're and literally no one cares. I was like, hey, you're the government shutdown. How did it affect you? Like, what? Who cares? F those losers. But now we have a clock up. They got the clock, the countdown or count up, I guess, time tracking clock of how long the radical left Democrats have allowed the government to be shut down. 1 day and 20 hours and 26 minutes, you see. This clock, does that clock match that one? I guess it does. No, it doesn't, does it? They got to synchronize their clocks here. Something's going on. Anyway, Democrats have shut down the government. Well, now I'm a Democrat. You know what I mean? Here you go. Democrats must reopen the government. No health care for illegals. You don't get it, you racists. You want them to have health care so they can get ground up by the freaking machine of Rockefeller medicine. Don't you freaking understand? It's like they don't get it. What is the game going on here? Women and children may go without food so illegals can get free health care, the White House tells us. Well, eat your GMO pesticide-laden food there now. Maha. WIC, Food Assistance Program for Moms and Children, could run out of funds if shutdown persists. Total bullshit. It's literally total bullshit. But that's the propaganda they're feeding us. Oh my gosh. You want poor children to starve. You're for a government shutdown. How about this idea? This is a great reminder about why you should not be dependent on government, if at all possible. I understand there's some cases where you may be extremely disabled, no family, friends, no hope in the world, and that's why we have the social safety net, so you're not laying out there in the street, strung out on heroin or fentanyl or whatever the hell these people are doing. But that's a small percentage, man. You know what I mean? And so for those people, I do feel bad for them. And there's many charities as well. We used to be a charitable country and give through your church and other charities before all of that got turned into giant fraud scam rackets. There are still some charities out there that are legitimate, but it's getting fewer and further between them, and it's harder to find them. But there used to be a time when the charities would take care of the poor, and we didn't need this giant welfare state. And so why illegals are coming here? Well, you have a giant welfare state, you know what I mean? So what, of course, and I always reference, which is true, the libertarian economist Milton Friedman said, you can't, because the libertarian position is open borders, right? But you can't have open borders in a welfare state, you see? And that's just the basic economics of the whole idea here. Or you will be bankrupted, as we are seeing now. Democrat shutdown hurts families, veterans, workers across the country. Hasn't hurt me one bit. Nobody working in private industry is hurt by this one little bit. We're actually relieved that maybe the government can take the 20 FBI agents off my case, and maybe it's down to 15 now. I don't know, man. It's all AI automated, so we're living through this as part of the technocracy. Government shutdown hurts families, veterans. It doesn't hurt them. They're going to get back pay. And here's all the reports, sob stories. Well, don't be dependent on government. I know it's harsh, but that's where I'm at here. F you, government. F you. The Democrat shutdown is very unpopular. The bobblehead bimbo White House, Levitt tells us in this poll. Failing New York Times poll says that views on whether the Democrat shutdown should or should not shut down the government if their demands are not met. So look how many losers, according to this poll, are in America. All respondents, 65% said should not. Losers, 27% should. Good job there. And look at all the Republican bootlickers here. So it just goes to show they have no principles. It's about their political party. They have no real hate in their heart for government, as they should, to be real American patriots. So yeah, Republicans, shills, bootlickers, sellouts, pieces of shit. 92%, according to this poll, 92% of Republicans say they should not shut down the government. Well, F you, Republicans. Independents at least have half a brain, 59%. No, they're still, and then Democrats, see, should not. So now Democrats are in the right, actually, not due to any, ideological stance or principled stance or having morality, just because of their bullshit politics. These people all make me want to throw up. Here's Trump. And so there was a bunch of, propaganda before the election. Trump's going to put all the women in, what is that one stupid movie? I can't even remember it. They're wearing the red, and it's all controlled. It's a theocracy. It's a state-controlled theocracy. Anyway, and allegedly Democrat propaganda during the election said that was all part of Trump's Project 2025. And so it turns out maybe they were right. Was it the Handmaid's Tale? That's what it is. Anyway, I have a meeting today with Russ Vogt, he of Project 2025 fame, to determine which of the many Democrat agencies, most of which are a political scam, he recommends to be cut, and whether or not those cuts will be temporary or permanent. I can't believe the radical left Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. They are not stupid people, so maybe this is their way of wanting to quietly and quickly make America great again. The entire piece of shit government knows the score. They know that technocracy's taken over here now. And so they put on the show left, right for the idiot masses, but behind the scenes, they already know the program is taken over and there ain't no going back unless something's done with all these data centers. You know what I'm saying? Trump touts shutdown as an unprecedented opportunity. Stop teasing us and do it. Stop talking shit and do it. But all they do is talk shit because they're fake, you see. Educational department employees surprised to find their email automatically changed to blame Democrats for shutdown. 5 furloughed employees told NBC News they're just these people resign. You're a coward, parasite on the rest of society. Resign. 5 furloughed employees told NBC News they had put up nonpartisan out-of-office messages only to see they were changed without their permission to partisan ones. Resign. It's too partisan of an atmosphere for you to work in the criminal government. Resign. Department of Education employees. I thought they had promised we were going to abolish the Department of Education during the first months of the Trump administration. Trump had promised that, along with his World Wrestling Federation, Linda McMahon, Secretary of Federal Education Department. Resign now. take this opportunity and freaking do a Hamas on the freaking buildings and end it all. They won't, because they're lying criminal scum that are manipulating the public mind here now. And so they go on to say, well, what it amounts to is a big troll job. And these who even knows if these are real people? NBC, for all we know, literally just made this up with AI. You know what I mean? But allegedly, they're trolling them now. In their emails, they say, what else we got another story about it. Trump uses government shutdown to dole out firings and political punishment. The AP's crying. Nobody's been fired, man. He's talking about it. He's teasing us with it. I'm predicting no one will be fired. I was wrong about the government shutdown. I hope I'm wrong about this, and they fire them all. So more whining about it. F you again, if we haven't said it enough here. Government, everybody that works for the government, F yourselves, man. You're just garbage. Shutdown guts U.S. cybersecurity agency at perilous time. The Washington Compost reports. The lead U.S. agency for protecting the electric grid, water supply, and other critical services from hacking has furloughed most of its already trimmed down staff in the government shutdown, just as the decade-old law giving companies leeway to collaborate on cyber defense expired. Well, you should all resign in shame, actually. CISA is set to keep 889 employees, or 35% of its workforce it had in May, according to a planning document released by the parent department, the Department of Homeland Security. They're all unconstitutional, illegal, and criminal, part of the big crime syndicate. So yeah, resign. You've already been replaced by AI. If you didn't know it, this is your hint to hit the road. There's more on this outrageous, even more agencies got that outrageous Team Trump shutdown email. I feel so bad for them. They all cheered on. Never forget what they did during the medical intervention period. The government, all of these people complicit in the crimes against humanity committed against you and I, never forget. That's why I have no sympathy, nothing. I can't even say what I want for these people on this broadcast. The cut and paste shutdown message broadcast by several executive branch agency chiefs earlier this week affected more parts of the government than previously understood. The Treasury Department employees and workers at the IRS also received near mirror images of the ethics violating directive. Isn't that clown world joke? Like the government has any ethics whatsoever. Go F yourselves. You know what I mean? That's literally where I'm at. It's where everybody should be at in this country at this point. The email headed planning for potential lapse in funding, issued guidance for Treasury Department workers on the eve of the government shutdown, including staff furloughs and continued work plans, but it also overtly blames the shutdown on Democrats in apparent violation of the standards of ethical conduct for employees of the executive branch. What a effing joke. They have no ethics. They're criminals, the entire government. So there you go. Trump making plans to send billions in cash bailouts to farmers with taxpayer money. Report out of Politico. Let's take a look. The president has also said he wants to use direct tariff revenue for the payments, but that could trigger a major fight in Congress. Trump administration is planning to roll out the first tranche of bailout payments for farmers in the coming weeks, likely using billions of dollars in funding from an internal USDA account, according to 3 people with direct knowledge of the matter. But it won't be enough. It's never enough, is it? USDA's Commodity Credit Corporation Fund, which Trump previously tapped to provide $28 billion in farm aid during his first term, trade war with China, has just $4 billion left in the account. Just $4 billion sounds like a lot, I guess, if you're bailing out the entire ag sector of the economy. I guess that's not very much. Trump officials, including those at the Treasury Department, are looking at how to tap tariff receipts or other funding to supplement the payment without triggering a messy fight in Congress. Nothing like free market capitalism. What a joke. They're price fixing. That is the government, probably these giant monopoly corporations, as we've gone over here, that control, the markets in the agriculture sector. The price fixing, their never-ending use of deadly pesticides, GMOs, go down the list of toxins in our food supply, thanks to these assholes. They deserve a bailout. What the hell? Rand Paul straight up compares Trump taking stakes in private companies to the New York governor, and what the hell's his name? All the fake conservatives are up in arms about they're going to have a communist be the New York governor. Really? There's already a communist, the New York governor. Whatever, dude. Let's hear now from Rand Paul comparing Trump to a socialist. He's a New York liberal. He is a socialist.
Big business. At a New York Economic Club event today, the president's top trade negotiator said that Trump would, quote, love a stake in every company that's doing well. What do you think about that? I mean, you are a free markets, true capitalism kind of guy. That doesn't sound like any free markets I know.
Yeah, if you're going to criticize Mandami for wanting to own the grocery stores, you have to be equal parts critic to any Republican who wants a share of NVIDIA, a share of Intel, or a share of U.S. Steel. It's a bad idea. It's a slippery slope. And really, it is heading in the direction of what socialism is, which would be owning all of the means of production. If you only own a percentage of the means of production, it still is a step in the wrong direction.
When Max says the Pentagon's probably been creating secret emergency accounts to protect social services. Yeah, there's the billion, what is it, 21 billion, trillion that Catherine Austin Fitts always talks about. Where's all that money? Maybe Max on to something there. I don't know. There's a lot of missing money, and we know that this is a closed system. So if they really wanted to, they could run audits and track it all down, especially those large amounts that Catherine Austin Fitts talks about. You know what I mean? But they don't, because it's all part of their theft. I don't know, Mac. You think they really care about? Protecting anything? I have serious doubts. I just honestly don't think any of these people at this point where we're at in this country, maybe I'm too cynical, black-pilled, but I just think that they're out for themselves. They know what time it is, and they don't give a damn. Trust in media at new low of 28% in U.S. Again, I never trust polls. This is Gallup, allegedly reliable, right? One of the bigger ones. I'd like to stake in well-performing companies too. Well, Ruckus, you're not the government, so you don't even get a say. You're lucky if you get ramen to eat, dude, like the rest of us. Yeah, I'd like a stake in well-performing companies. Man, oh man. Okay, trust in media, according to this Gallup poll, at new low of 28% in US. Well, we should get, it literally should be zero. I don't know. Government media is not all bad. Like your mainstream corporate ones, they all are bad. We do get some good reporting here and there. Now it's just, you got to parse through, right? Because they create, we have political narratives, cultural narratives, and so on and so on. But there is still good reporting we get out of the corporate mockingbird media. But you have to learn to read between the lines, like dig deep. If you're just following the main, narrative of the day headlines, obviously that's being produced by the government and then mockingbird out to the public by your corporate media. And so obviously your main big talking points are all bullshit. But I do believe that they do some good reporting still through all the bullshit. Nothing on anything of any substance or that really digs deep to counter an official narrative. But that's where we come in as consumers of this media. We have to do critical thinking and read between the lines for ourselves here now, and parse out the information that we can get that's given to us, and then come to our own conclusions and critically think with a skeptical eye on the media. So to just sit back and be spoon-fed by your television, then you deserve what you get at this point. I mean, come on, man. Anyhow, on to this report, this poll from Gallup. Republicans' confidence in mass media to report news fully, accurately, and fairly, now at 8%. Needs to be zero. I like that little graphic they came up with here. So yeah, what is this? America's trust in mass media from 72 to this year 25, and you can see we were really naive fools back in the 70s, right? Like what, 69%, 68% in the 70s. So it really went up, right? Like 72% in 76, the year I was born. So the year I was born, 1976, America was a bunch of naive fools. And apparently we figured out something thereafter, probably in large part to the debacle that was the Vietnam War. And it went straight down, and then it's been going straight down ever since. We had a little blip up here. What happened there? Obama. People started believing some Obama lies a little bit there, but then it went back down. Or actually some Trump lies, 2018. So people started believing some Trump lies right around here. And then, it started going back down where it should be, in the toilet. You could see, down to 8% right here. And then who's this broken? A great deal or fair amount, down to 8%. Who are these? Let's see here. Well, let's look at Democrats for a second, since I'm a big Democrat. Democrats down to 51%. Not good, Democrats. Not good. And then independents, everybody should be at zero, literally, but 27%. Republicans, there you go, untrusting. But they have all their fake conservative influencers out there leading them down the wrong path as well, So you're not getting any help from any of these fake conservative clownfluencers. That's for damn sure. Okay. Trump's war on drugs here. Illegal foreign war of aggression, unconstitutional, illegal. Trump says U.S. is in armed conflict with drug cartels after ordering strikes in the Caribbean. Extrajudicial killings of fishermen. Maybe they are drug traffickers, the worst guys in the world. But maybe U.S. should look at our own CIA first before we start whacking fishing boats in the Caribbean Sea. Just saying. That's what history tells us is the truth. And it's very well documented that the head drug traffickers in this world are the Anglo-American establishment, i.e. Western intelligence agencies. Trump has declared well, let me put it on, this is an AP report. I don't even know whatever happened with I guess the falling out between Trump and the AP has been ironed over and they're back in good. I don't know, because remember he banned AP for a while because they wouldn't recognize the Gulf of America. Remember that whole stupid incident? I think they're back allowed in the press pool now. Okay, President Trump has declared drug cartels to be unlawful combatants. So our own intelligence agencies are unlawful combatants. Yeah, that's true, but he won't name them. And says the United States is in a non-international armed conflict, according to a Trump administration memo obtained by the AP today, following recent U.S. strikes on boats in the Caribbean. What Trump said, there's 4 now. I think we only got video of 2, maybe 3. I think only 2, because the other 2 were probably were just fishing boats. Sorry, we whacked you with a drone. You're dead. Who cares? We'll just call you a drug trafficker. So kind of significant. I mean, the president has declared war here, a non-international armed conflict. Trump determined the U.S. is now in a war with drug cartels. Congress is told. Lawmakers from both sides pressed Pentagon on legal basis for cartel boat strikes. What are you, a pro-crime commie? Okay, here's a mashup, and those we got articles, all your big Mockingbirds, AP, failing New York Times, Wall Street Journal, all to get to this. Here's an AI mashup for your information. So we already covered this. Trump today says that the United States is engaged in a non-international armed conflict with drug cartels designated as terrorist organizations, framing recent U.S. military strikes in the Caribbean as part of an ongoing war rather than isolated incidences. What? Yeah. This determination was communicated to Congress via confidential notice, invoking a statute that requires reporting on hostilities involving U.S. armed forces. The declaration follows a series of deadly operations last month, including a strike on September 2nd that killed 11 people aboard a speedboat allegedly operated by Trindagra Gang, a Venezuela-based group labeled as a foreign terrorist organization by the United States federal government earlier in the year. Overall, these strikes have resulted in at least 17 deaths across 3 incidences involving vessels primarily from Venezuela. Trump said yesterday 4, so they're missing that in this reporting, but maybe no one died in the 4th. I don't know. He said they whacked 4 boats. Continuing, which the administration justifies as targeting unlawful combatants. Where have we heard that? The war on terror. Smuggling drugs for cartels, not for the CIA, apparently. Trump administration officials argue that the cartel's activities, including fentanyl trafficking, that causes tens of thousands of American overdose deaths annually, target Purdue Pharma, target Johnson & Johnson. Oh, no, they're great heroes of American public health. I forgot. The Trump administration official, we covered that, continuing here, thereby authorizing wartime powers such as lethal force without imminent threat, indefinite detention, and military tribunals. So they're Al-Qaeda terrorists. They could, hey, these drug traffickers could one day be president of Syria. You know what I mean? So, hey, anything's possible in America. However, the focus of these operations has been on Caribbean routes rather than Mexican drug cartels, which are the primary source of fentanyl. Really? The legal rationale has sparked significant backlash from lawmakers across party lines who have pressed Pentagon officials in closed-door meetings for clarity on the basis for these strikes. Well, we just told you that they're unlawful combatants, you see. Democrats in particular have urged Trump to seek explicit congressional authorization under the War Powers Resolution, viewing the executive actions as potential overreach and using military force for what they argue should be law enforcement matters. The War Powers Resolution, there you go. Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island criticized the moves as secret wars without credible legal justification or congressional oversight, emphasizing the drug cartels should be addressed through policing rather than military engagement. Some Republicans and human rights groups have echoed these concerns, questioning the administration's inability to provide a clear list of designated terrorist organizations during briefings. Legal experts have been even more critical, with who's this character? Jeffrey S. Korn, a retired military lawyer, describing the framework as shredding the envelope of international law, arguing that drug trafficking does not equate to hostilities warranting armed conflict status. In defense, White House spokeswoman Anna Kelly stated that Trump acted within the law of armed conflict to protect Americans from deadly poison. Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, you just gave Pfizer $70 billion contract. Who cares? You know what I mean? They care about us. They care about us. Fulfilling campaign promises to combat drug cartels. Pentagon spokesman Sean Purnell affirmed compliance with domestic and international laws, noting required notifications to Congress. The administration's approach draws parallels to post 9/11 precedents, such as the U.S. conflict with Al-Qaeda, where wartime powers were upheld for non-state actors, including indefinite detention under humane treatment per the Geneva Conventions. Critics warn that this expansion of power could set dangerous precedents for executive power, blurring the lines between counter narcotics operations and warfare, especially without specifically affiliating standards for targets. While the articles focus on the Caribbean strikes, they underscore broader implications for Trump's aggressive stance on cartels, potentially extending to Mexican groups, though no such new proposals for military actions against them are detailed. The White House has not responded to requests for further comment on this matter. Yeah, what the hell? They're enemy combatants. Or maybe they're fishermen. It doesn't really matter. Trump cares about us, keeping us safe from the drugs. Pfizer got a $70 billion contract, and Johnson & Johnson CEO is constantly praised by Trump, and Purdue Pharma is laughing their asses off. Who cares about any of that? We're getting those fishermen with the drugs on their boats. MAGA. And here's the lying, crying Ice Barbie from Homeland Security. She says the Democrat shutdown has forced federal law enforcement and the men and women of the DHS to continue defending the homeland without pay. These men and women are patriots for their continued defense of our nation during this time. We will not stop working for the American people. They all know they're getting back pay. They're probably booking ridiculous overtime as well behind this whole thing when they think no one's looking. Stephen Miller he admitted yesterday that the federal government is the biggest gang in the world, and he'll take on all of these other street gangs and defeat them. In reference to National Guard on the streets of Memphis, Tennessee. Today, this is from, he posted this today, but this is a repost from Propaganda. Protect her by your Department of Homeland Security, as we're trying to document all of this propaganda that, oh, here you go. Department of Homeland Security, unconstitutional, illegal executive agency. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Really, resign and abolish the Department of Homeland Security if they truly believed in that. Obviously, they don't. It's more patriotic propaganda to trick the gullible fools out there. Bombshell ice sweep in Minneapolis, St. Paul finds 50% of immigrants had committed immigration fraud. You don't say, fix this, help us, and Department of Homeland Security on their never-ending recruitment drive here to go be part of their big gang. How can we ever trust government again? 50% immigration fraud rate, unbelievable. Rasmussen reports, posted this screenshot. Looks like a report out of the New York Calm Post there. Yeah, trust the government. What the hell? What do you got to lose? I don't know, everything, your life. America calls, again, a classic propaganda image here. So they're still cranking these out. Become a homeland defender today. If you want to help us decide who will enter our country, then join us. Department of Homeland Security, that's not immigration, but whatever, dude. Benefits include $50K signing bonus, no college degree required. I think there's no age limit too, as we have reported previously. So it's basically any hillbilly redneck with a shotgun, go get your $50K there, I guess. Flexible hours, flexible duty locations, and work from home. How you work from home stopping illegal immigration? I guess on the interwebs, I don't know. But hey, what the hell? $50K signing bonus of your tax money. And what do we got? There's still quite a bit here. Let me take the live commercial break now, and we'll come back with more Homeland Security news, keeping the homeland safe. Go to weaponizednews.com, get a holograph sticker, a clear white background sticker, and just a white background sticker and the clear sticker here. Clear, you can see there. All three stickers available at weaponizednews.com. Give us a donation if you like. We appreciate that as well. We have pet ID tags and a few books in the store at weaponizednews.com. We take donations, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, and our Bitcoin wallet address is in the description below this video. We appreciate all of the support, all of our subscribers. But we're going to have to start a big push here now as we're in the fourth quarter of 2025, and we have some overhead to pay our bills here now. So I'm going to come up with a campaign how we're going to fund those bills into the new year. But again, thank you everybody for your support, your feedback, your comments, and the like. Back to the second half of Weaponized News here now for you on this October 2nd, 2025. As we've gone over in the first half, the Democrat shutdown, because they care more about illegal aliens' health care than the Republican Trump administration tells us. But again, as I've explained, they're missing the whole big picture here now about what all this is really about. But continue to live like naive fool sheep and trust your government. DHS law enforcement has made over 900 arrests during Operation Midway Blitz in Illinois. To every criminal illegal alien, darkness is no longer your ally. We will find you. Here's propaganda video from the Department of Homeland Security. It's kind of scary if you think about it. If you were an illegal alien and these guys were coming after you, then yeah, it is. It could be scary. It is scary. Now I lost my place. Let me get back to it here. Shoot, we got a lot. I got to speed up the show because we got a lot more to cover. I got to blast through a lot of stuff. I think we're gonna have to skip some. Let's play we'll play this propaganda clip again out of Chicago, Operation Midway Blitz by the Department of Homeland Security. There you go. Denver's got it. Tired of simple domestic battery? Want to broaden your abusive horizons? Call ICE now. Again, no one in the government that allowed the illegal alien problem in this country to get so bad has gotten in trouble. So I'll believe they're genuine when they start arresting those people, i.e. government, and then get all the illegals too. But backhandedly know that at some point in time, all these FEMA camps, immigrant detention facilities can and will be used to round up American political dissidents. Okay? So make no mistake about this tyranny and a prison grid system they're building here now. And it's all well and good to hate the illegal criminals, but we need to be wary that it can very easily be turned around on us. Here's, they're bragging about the National Guard, essentially de facto martial law there in Memphis, Tennessee. Here is old Blondie. I don't know who Epstein is. Pam Bondi.
We know that Memphis is an iconic city, and we are going to make Memphis safe again. By the way, there's a federal shutdown right now. I don't know if you saw that in DC. Well, we know crime doesn't shut down, and that's why we're all here. You work 24/7, and we're all working 24/7.
We're not here to second guess you. We're here to have your back, to unleash you to do your job so you come home safely. Our department is here to enable you, law enforcement, to do your job, to help protect your facilities, help protect your people, so that your hands can be untied to secure your city.
I guarantee you that there is a square inch of law in this city where a citizen doesn't feel safe is unacceptable. This is Memphis, this is the United States of America, and all that bullshit is done. It's over, it's finished.
Godspeed, God bless. Thank you for everything you do.
U.S. Department of War, they're launching a war in Memphis, Tennessee. And once Denver say we need to mock these people, their authority is illegal and illegitimate. And if it's one thing those in power hate, it's being effectively mocked in a way that exposes their fraud. Yeah, well, Trump sucks at golf. How about that? We'll start with that one. FBI fires agent trainee who displayed pride flag, Freudian slip there. CNN says, so you're not allowed to be gay now, even though the FBI is faking gay. Apparently, you can't display pride flags there because they lost the Epstein files, apparently. Well, FBI Director Kash Patel has fired a longtime Bureau employee who displayed a pride flag in his workspace during a past assignment, according to multiple criminals working for the FBI. So there you go. Faking gay. Your FBI. U.S.-born citizen sues after twice being arrested by immigration agents. What the hell? He's a Mexican, right? The Democrats said if you're Mexican or Latino or whatever, you know what I mean? Then they're coming after you. Leandro Garcia Venegas was twice arrested in construction site sweeps. A U.S.-born citizen who was arrested and detained by immigration authorities twice in recent months has filed a lawsuit against the federal government claiming he was improperly detained. Where was this? This was out of Alabama. He claims the arrests were unreasonable and violated the Fourth Amendment that protects against unreasonable search and seizure. Yeah, get in line, dude. Good luck with that. They may just label you an enemy combatant and freaking drone you if you make too much fuss about it. Meta will serve ads based on your AI chats, and so be careful what you are chatting with your AI chatbot, because it will be used for marketing and, of course, targeting you, as all your data is by the technocracy. So be aware of that. And then feed them to the wood chipper. If this is true and they really are guilty, well, he pled guilty. Robert Morris, Texas mega church pastor, pleads guilty to sexually abusing a child. Well, put him in the wood chipper. Under a plea agreement, Morris was given a 10-year sentence, but he will serve only 6 months in an Oklahoma jail. He needs to be put headfirst into a wood chipper. Robert Morris, the Texas megachurch pastor who built Gateway Church into one of the largest congregations in the country, pled guilty Thursday. So he pled guilty to charges that he sexually abused a girl in the 1980s. I'm sure she wasn't the only one. Yeah, so double hell, double hockey sticks. Burn in hell, asshole. And you should get the wood chipper. But what about that? 10-year sentence, he'll only serve 6 months. But these men are of law and order. You know what I mean? They're probably part of it too. I wouldn't doubt it. Anyway. Disgusting. And then the other side of it, but not really. They all need to burn in hell and be fed into the wood chipper. Gay porn star sentenced to 19 years for child sex crimes. Former U.S. pornographic actor Austin Wolf's crimes include sexual violence against a 15-year-old boy and attempted rape of a 7-year-old boy with the boy's father's help. All of them into a wood chipper. There you go. This character right here. So you got both sides, gay porn stars and mega church pastors, to show you what degenerate scum are out there in our society. Truly disgusting. Trump's FDA approves new generic version of the milfpremstone abortion pill. They're big pro-life guys there. I think Trump campaigned on that. What the hell? At least FDA still cares about the abortion pill, according to an AP report. Louisiana issues arrest warrant for a California doctor who allegedly sent abortion pills through the mail. It's the latest legal volley between abortion ban states and states that have inactive protections for abortion providers. And here's your wonderful toxic abortion pill right there. Louisiana has issued an arrest warrant for a California doctor for allegedly mailing abortion pills to a Louisiana woman. We already said that part. The existence of the arrest warrant was revealed in court documents filed earlier this month in a lawsuit that aims to push federal regulators to reinstate in-person dispensing requirements for the abortion pill. I guess this California doctor is not going to Louisiana anytime soon. There. Or he wouldn't be very bright, or maybe he wants to go in solitary confinement and be in solidarity. Okay, the Synagogue of Satan in the UK, a British synagogue was attacked by a radical jihadist terrorist, we're told. Attacker killed 2 people and injured 3 in British synagogue attack. And the funny thing is, I believe the guy's name was Jihad. Yeah, Jihad al-Shami. And here's an image of him allegedly in a suicide bomber vest strapped up with explosives. But hey, his name's Jihad. What did you expect? And then, of course, the never-ending play on victimhood. UK's counter-terrorism police name Manchester synagogue attacker as Jihad al-Shimi, a 35-year-old UK citizen and Syrian dissident. Yeah, we're going to skip the press conferences about it. Yeah, so it was an attack on the Synagogue of Satan, a synagogue in the UK. I keep having that Freudian slip, excuse me. Aardvark Land blames Stalmer government for Manchester synagogue attack, ignoring wave of anti-Septicism. Stalmer says Britain will defeat anti-Septicism. So there you go. And then we did a video of Stalmer, but I'm getting told I need to pick up the pace and get on with the show here by my producer. So I will do as such. Here's Keir Stalmer. What does he say? He says, terrorist attack on the aardvarks because they are aardvarks. Yeah, they just hate them because of who they are. It's not because, they're Synagogue of Satan, Zionist, backing genocide. None of this. It's simply because they're aardvarks, you see. He vows to guarantee aardvark security that they deserve. Again, aardvarks even. I don't hate you. I question your beliefs quite a bit here, but I don't hate you. But a warning to you, aardvarks in the UK, the government can't and won't keep you safe, regardless of what Keir Starmer or the counterterrorism unit or any of these jokers say. Old Putin. Big talk from Putin today. We have quite a few clips, but I don't think we'll be able to get to that many. Russia twice declared its readiness to join NATO and was refused both times as a prelude to the unprovoked invasion by Putin. Putin says Ukraine war could have been avoided if Trump was president at the time. See? If you would have just elected Trump in 2020, then the war would have never happened, as has been claimed by Trump a chameleon times. How many ever times? Affirmed here now by Putin. Of course, it's all geopolitical theater bullshit, but what the hell? Now we have to believe Trump's lies that are backed up by Putin. Zelensky says after his meeting with Trump, Ukraine may soon get something more from the U.S. for striking long-distance targets inside Russia, having relied only on its own weapons so far. And as soon as that happens, then Russia will take it as a direct strike by the United States against Russia via proxy Ukraine. And then we'll be in a direct war with Russia. And isn't that what we all want? It was at the Valdai International Discussion Club where all of these clips came from. And again, due to time restraints on my part, I will not be able to play many of these clips. I think I will pick out a few still, though. Let's see here. Putin said they say the German army should be the most powerful in Europe. Okay, we have been listening to that attentively and eyeing that closely, trying to figure out what they actually mean. I believe that no one has any doubt that the response of Russia will not be long in coming. More back and forth, talking shit on NATO, essentially, saying he wanted to be part of it. They wouldn't let him in. Well, who would let Putin in, the most evil man in the world? And this, speaking to on the top level, it is the global conspiracy for one world government. We're already under one world government, even though they want to act like we're not. So they're trying to keep that thin veil, but it shall be Operation Lockstep. We saw it during the medical intervention period. That's enough proof for me. It should be enough proof for you that all the world powers working together in lockstep for as we all lived through. We know what happened. Putin said, comments on Tony Blair. And so he's good buddies with Tony Blair, apparently. He says, I personally know him. I stayed overnight at his house. We drank coffee in pajamas in the morning. Oh, and probably doing some secret society Freemason rituals as well. You know what I mean? He left that part out, though. Russian President Vladimir Putin says Russia supports Trump's peace plan for Gaza, but notes that the two-state solution is the key to a final solution between Palestine and Aardvark land. Well, we know what the final solution is: wipe them all out, right? The situation in Gaza is a terrible event in modern history, Putin says. You don't say. What about your war there? Your war is pretty horrible, too. I think they killed more have died in Russia-Ukraine war than the Gaza genocide. So what you're doing there is pretty damn bad. I do agree with that. Putin and Zelensky and NATO and America killing the hell out of poor soldiers over there. It's horrific. War's a racket. There are no good guys. Many countries are at war with us. All NATO countries are at war with us, and they do not hide it. I think we should play this clip. This is significant. Now, we saw Lavrov saying as much the other day, and now Putin saying it. So Russia is at war with NATO and the EU. Kind of a big deal. Nobody cares.
And many countries are at war with us. Well, all NATO countries are fighting against us. They themselves no longer hide it. And unfortunately, there are instructors, right? And they are actually participating in combat operations, really from Western countries. So yes, a center was specifically created in Europe, which essentially accompanies everything that the armed forces of Ukraine do. Feeds information, transmits intelligence data from space, supplies weapons, trains, and I repeat, instructors participate not only in preparation but also in decision making and even in their implementation. Therefore, of course, this is a serious challenge for us, but the Russian army, the Russian state and the Russian defense industry quickly adapted to this challenge.
It's kind of a big deal. Like this freaking close with America directly, with Russia saying, America, we're directly at war with you. Putin went on to say there are many problems with the United Nations, but there is nothing better. Did I miss the? Well, yeah, this is a good one. We got to play this one. Putin says Russia earned about $800 million last year from selling uranium to the United States. Huh? I thought we sanctioned anybody that does business with Russia. Huh?
Вот в прошлом году, я уже не помню там в абсолютных величинах, даже в процентах, но помню, сколько мы заработали. Это было около 800 миллионов долларов. 700 где-то 50, 760 миллионов долларов. За первое полугодие текущего года мы продали в США урана более чем...
Sorry, no translation there. But allegedly, reportedly, that's what he said, and we have reported that previously. Putin said there is no and will be no power in the world that will dictate to everyone what to do, i.e. one world government. Every power has its limits. Well, he knows damn well, because he's part of it, that there already is a one world government in the shadows. But is it really? And then more proof here now. Damascus sends military delegation to Moscow amid warming relations, as relations develop between the new Al-Qaeda-led Syrian government, a fine upstanding young man, according to Trump, the new president there of Syria. So they had this meetup. Here it is. The Syrian delegation was received by the Russian Defense Ministry, and they said to discuss the development of coordination mechanisms between the defense ministers of the two countries. The Kremlin said if Tomahawks are supplied by the U.S. to Ukraine, then Russia will have to give an adequate response. Seems rather measured. Prisoner of war exchanges are still going on, which I do believe is a good sign. 185 Russian prisoners of war were exchanged with Ukraine today. So they keep this going up, the prisoner of war exchange. Just stop freaking shooting at each other, man. But Zelensky can't, right? And maybe Putin can't either. It looks like he can't either. U.S. to provide Ukraine with intelligence for long-range missile strikes inside Russia. The Trump administration is still considering supplying Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles and other missiles that have a range of about 500 miles. Not good, man. Not good. We're like this close. And then former Syrian President Bashar Assad is hospitalized by poisoning assassination attempt. It's being reported. Canada issues warning for citizens with gender-neutral passports traveling to the United States. Global Affairs says X marker may not be recognized at the border. So if you're a, what are they calling it now? 2S LGBTQ plus Canadian passport holder, watch out coming to the United States, because the X may not be recognized by the bigoted American government. So be warned there. And what do they call it? They say S2SL LGBTQ plus. I don't know what the 2S is. Maybe that's some part of their passport. Anyway, U.S.-backed terror group SDF shuts down Christian schools in northern Syria. SDF closed several Syrian and Assyrian schools for refusing its Kurdish-focused curriculum. Churches insist on using the Syrian government curriculum, saying the other curriculum erases Syrian language and history. Well, that's the whole point of colonization, isn't it? Christian leaders call it repression and racist, warning of cultural erasure. You don't say. India and China will resume direct passenger flights this month after a 5-year halt due to bats and border tensions, according to a report out of Bloomberg. So they literally shut down direct passenger flights between India and China because of the bat problem that we had. Wow. Madagascar, as reported yesterday, there are Gen Z protests. The youth are protesting. They're in Madagascar due to power outages, corruption, and joblessness. The protesters demand focus on services, accountability, and support for the youth. Unrest has escalated with rising casualties and calls for resignations. Yeah. Everybody loves the corrupt government all around the world, don't you know? U.S. sends $230 million to Lebanon as it moves to disarm Hezbollah. And they keep with the back and forth. Oh, aardvarks are not going to blow you up anymore if you just disarm. Really? I don't think Hezbollah is disarming. But they keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh, it's a ceasefire, and then they shoot you. But as long as we continue to fund all of it, then everything's rosy over here for America. Right? Right. I do like the Lebanese flag with that tree on it. I do enjoy their flag. Who the hell? Morocco flag we showed yesterday with the freaking star on it. If you just, it could easily be interpreted as a pentagram. You know what I mean? Very, very dark flag there in Morocco. Aardvark land strikes kill dozens. So you're like, they're still killing Palestinians, right? Yeah, well, the genocide continues. Aardvark land strikes and gunfire kill at least 57 Palestinians in the Gaza Strip in the last 24 hours. They're under their quota. I do believe we calculated about a couple of weeks ago, their quota should be about 100 a day. So they're falling behind, but I'm sure they'll make up for it. And when it all averages out, it's about 100 a day here now, continuously. And then the big international fallout, are we there yet? I don't think we're not there yet, but Aardvark land declares 600,000 in Gaza City military targets, cuts off lifeline from south. And so you're like, damn, we got to kill these Palestinians. Well, don't you worry. It's coming. More here now. At least 600,000 Palestinians are currently under siege in Gaza City amid Aardvark land army ongoing bombardment, encirclement, and expulsion campaign. Yeah. As reported yesterday, Kat said, last opportunity for Gaza residents to move south. Again, they're paying influencers there. And we had the second now, I guess Elon Musk overtook him, but now back to the second, Larry Ellison of Oracle. Apparently, he's the second richest man in the world, you know what I mean, officially. Apparently, he's vetting our Secretary of State. Leaked emails have come out. Here it is, right here, where some leaked emails have come out. Larry, hi. How was the conversation with Marco Rubio? Did he pass your scrutiny? Did you have a chance to talk about Aardvark land? Marco will be great friend for Aardvark land. Well, that's really all that matters. You know what I mean? Who cares about the rest of the world and U.S. diplomatic affairs as long as he's a friend of Aardvark land and he's got Larry Ellison's endorsement, who's no part of the government. Oh, but he is actually the intelligence agency essentially here now. So he got his blessing, and so now we have little Marco as Secretary of State, thankfully. Here is Andrew Cuomo, still running for New York City mayor, apologizing to the aardvark community for asking them to follow the same bat lockdown procedures he imposed on everyone else. Who believes it? I mean, he should be in prison.
We approach Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year. We are reminded this is a time of reflection, of forgiveness, and of recommitting ourselves to do even better. That is true for all of us, and it's true for our leaders as well. During COVID, as governor, I made decisions with the best of intentions to protect health and save lives. However, I recognize that some of those decisions caused pain in the Jewish community because we did not always fully consider the sensitivities and traditions that are so deeply important. We could have done better, and for that, I am truly sorry. My intention...
Dude, if you really support Cuomo or vote for him or whatever, I don't even know what to tell you at this point. I don't care if you're aardvark or freaking space alien, transgender furry from freaking Jupiter. This guy should be in prison for crimes against humanity for mass murder. But he's running for New York City governor. More on the fallout. ADL's crying. Of course, they're the victims because now their partnership with the FBI has been cut off, allegedly being reported. And so they cried yesterday. I don't think we got a chance to. Here's their post from the ADL. They said, as we prepare to observe the holiest day of the year on the aardvark calendar, we have seen the statement from FBI Director Patel regarding the FBI's relationship with ADL. ADL has deep respect for the Federal Bureau of Investigation and law enforcement officers at all levels across the country who work tirelessly every single day to protect all Americans regardless of their ancestry, religion, ethnicity, faith, political affiliation, or any other point of view. In light of an unprecedented surge of anti-Semitism, we remain more committed than ever to our core purpose to protect the aardvark people. Damn you, Patel, an anti-Semitic FBI. And then, of course, our Christian Zionist piece of trash. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, wishing you a meaningful fast this Yom Kippur. May this day of atonement bring reflection, clarity, and peace. Yeah, maybe you could, stop genociding those Palestinians. That's a bit too much to be asking. Reported on this yesterday, but worth reporting again today, I do believe. Aardvark Land is paying influencers $7,000 per post. A cohort of 14 to 18 social media influencers is being paid between $6,100 and $7,300 per post. So when you see these clownfluencers on the interweb saying how great Aardvark Land is, either they're true believers or they're paid off hack shill propagandists for genocide. Take your pick. Does it really even matter at this point? But here are these pieces of literal human trash. Aardvark Land is paying U.S. social media influencers thousands of dollars per post to improve its image amid Tel Aviv's efforts to destroy Gaza and starve its population. The Cradle put it pretty well there. And on to the Flotilla. More news about that. Aardvark Land detained more than 400 activists for the global Sumud Flotilla, but they told us it's Hamas. So, I mean, they're open game. They're lucky they haven't been whacked. Here's a word from Greta Thunberg.
My name is Bitchute. I'm a citizen of Sweden. If you are watching this video, I have been abducted and taken against my will by Israeli forces. Our humanitarian mission was non-violent and abiding by international law. Please tell my government to demand my and the others' immediate release.
They got the autistic Swedish girl over support for Palestine. Aardvark Land intercepts flotilla of over 40 boats bound for Gaza with aid. And I saw a bunch of posts saying, oh, there was no aid on those boats. It was just all publicity stunt. Well, however it may have been, it certainly worked. And the Aardvarks, by their actions here now, have made it an international incident. And so if it was all publicity stunt, it worked damn well. And you are continuing to fail at the propaganda game here, Aardvark Land. Sorry to tell you, these clown world influencers, clownfluencers that you're paying all this money to post good things about you on the interwebs, certainly don't know a damn thing about international propaganda, that's for sure, because you're failing. Whoever told you to go do this needs to be fired immediately. Some videos come out now. Here are the commandos. These are like, what, SEAL type commandos raiding the flotilla, one of the boats here now. Quite an operation. You would think that they were, Venezuelan fishermen or something. Let's take a look at this video. So again, overkill, you think? They sent in a whole amphibian commando unit for a flotilla manned by Greta Thunberg? Kind of like that video reports that we played yesterday with the Black Hawk helicopters there in Chicago to arrest some illegal aliens and like rappelling out of the helicopters and down buildings. It's just, come on, man, really? They're Hamas, you know what I mean? So anything goes. And with that, here's the final video of the show, and then we'll wrap up this Thursday broadcast. Here is Gazawood from the Clash Report. Let's watch this short 3-minute video, and then we'll call this a good broadcast. Gazawood.
You care about children. When you see the picture, are you guys seeing it? Because
60% at least of the pictures are, how do they call this? Gazawood. You know it? There is a
Gazawood, like Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like Gaza.
Yes.
More about Israelis than non-Israelis. It makes sense. Everyone does.
You might go fight in Gaza.
I love to.
You would love to?
I want. Yeah. People think that the children and the men and the women in Gaza, they're innocent. Bullshit. Everyone has, taken part 7 October. You can't ignore this. No matter what you say, you can't ignore this. No innocence.
Even women and children are not innocent in Gaza.
There is a mothers of terrorists, who support. So there is no innocence.
And the children?
The children gonna be, terrorists. They're gonna be killers.
The pictures of the children who appear to be starving.
All the
Do you guys see those pictures, and does it bother you?
See.
Tamar, tell me, do you see those pictures? Does it
I
bother
see
you?
those pictures, and I see a lot of pictures that are not real. They are staged.
Listen, the European and the Australian are idiots, excuse me, because they don't understand that the Islam is coming to them as well. It's not Israel to blame, it's the Palestinian, their leaders. They never wanted peace, and they wanted to come in our place, not next to Israel, instead of Israel.
They screwed up on this whole raiding of the flotilla. There's massive protests all around the world over it. They are looking like the tyrannical, bloodthirsty maniacs that they are. So, and Ruckus said they're on the same script. It looks like we are running the same script side by side with our Dwarkland, with our law enforcement getting ADL, IDF training. So with that, let's wrap up the show. Let's go to the channels quickly. Over to the Odysee. And who do we have at the Odysee chat? Quite a few, it seems. Gur, John, Fat Bob. Oh no, it's Gillespie. Good evening to you there. Oh no, it's Gillespie. He says he got a 5-liter drum of olive oil for $50. 5-liter drum. I'm trying to think about that. Sounds like a decent deal. Does this development allow Orange Man to fire more of his enemies? That's what he's going to try to do with the government shutdown, allegedly. Allegedly. Let's see here. Yeah, talking about you can't have open borders. Thomas Sowell said similar. It's basic economics. You can't just have open borders and then hand out a bunch of money. And then obviously that's a magnet to people to come here and then be like, oh, who's going to pay the debt? Oh, cryptocurrency? Let's not forget Miracle Daddy when we construct the... Yeah, I hear you, man. He quarterbacked the whole thing. But MAGA doesn't want to, you know, we're getting no Democrats. That's all that matters, apparently. This foolish false left-right paradigm, divide and conquer tactic works. And so that's what they're sticking with. The boarding looked like a Hollywood production, too. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why I don't know why they're putting this stuff out, man. They're looking real bad. They don't care. Obviously, it's a mockery. It's for mockery and demoralization purposes, obviously, because they're not blind and stupid. They know exactly what they're doing and how it looks. They don't care. It's literally a ritual on the world here now from the Synagogue of Satan. Quite horrific on their Yom Kippur holiday. Thank you for tuning in on the Odysee and keeping that chat lively. Appreciate it. The Bitchute as well. We're getting quite good numbers on the Bitchute. We have like barely 500 subscribers and we get over 100 views a show over there. So Bitchute is true to the game, I would say, according to the numbers. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you, Bitchute audience. Love you guys. Sadly, we don't have an integration of a live chat for the show, but whenever you're listening, even if not live on the replay, however it may be, thank you guys for tuning in on the Bitchute. If the numbers are real, I don't know. We're getting decent numbers out of Bitchute. So again, thank you guys for tuning in on the Bitchute. And then our live chat audience here, of course, the Rumble, keeping it lively and informative. Denver chimed in, yeah, the first CIA client, and that became Oracle. Yeah, well, who else? What else do we want out of life? But the second richest man in the world running the intelligence agencies and picking our Secretary of State. You know what I mean? What else? What else would we want in America here? So thank you guys for tuning in on the Rumble, keeping that chat lively as per usual. Appreciate it. YouTube, we had a few on YouTube. Dick Moves, Mac, Bindi, and Ruckus. Thank you guys for tuning in there. Denver even jumped on the YouTube a little bit there. Thank you for chatting it up there, Denver, and dropping the knowledge about Pax Americana, about the Belt and Road, and so on. Thank you for contributing in the chat to this show. Thank you to the X audience, Kick, Facebook, and Twitch. And as always, everybody do your own research. Peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Thursday evening. And we'll be back here on Friday for more weaponized news. And let's hope this government shutdown